Hi, wealthy money magicians. How are you? Okay, so I'm using Be Live again because I wanted to share the link to the masterclass on Monday. So welcome. If you've just joined the group, my name is Vangile Makwakwa and I'm the host of the Wealthy Money Group. And I asked the Wealthy Money students a few days ago about what Wealthy Money really does. So the Creating Money Magic students. And the general consensus was that Wealthy Money helps women liberate themselves from ancestral stories so that they can live their best lives. Okay, so that's what I do. I help women liberate themselves from ancestral money stories so that they can live their best lives. And the way that I do this is by helping women really feel relaxed and calm about their emotional reactions around money. And of course, really understanding that our emotional reactions are also ancestral reactions that we have around money emotionally. So today's topic is really about how to rebound from financial mistakes. And the irony of me having to do this, of me deciding to do this topic today a few weeks ago. So I decided I love to have a schedule of what I want to talk about in the group, and it changes. So I'm really glad that I'm talking about this today because it's really exciting, and we're doing the Wealthy Money Retreat in Thailand starting next Wednesday. Oh my God, it's only in a few days we have the Wealthy Money Retreat. Okay, so enough about the retreat, which you can learn more about if you just send me an email. There's still time. I still have space for one or two people. So, okay, so why is it important for us to know how to rebound? Morning! So why is it important for us to know how to rebound from financial mistakes? Okay, so I'm able to see everyone's comments and then it just kind of disappeared on me. Ugh. Oh, here we go. Okay, morning. And I can't, okay, I can't see much. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yes, just post comments. Let me know that you're online. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. Why is it important for us to learn how to rebound from financial mistakes? Actually, it's not just about us, right? So in the Wealthy Money Magicians course, in the Creating Money Magic course with the students, we're doing a lot more work around just sharing the journey and really understanding how our decisions are also informed by our ancestral history, and also how we're making decisions right now that if you haven't, let's say that you had financial mistakes that you made or issues around money, and then you have a kid, you're passing on those things in your DNA. And most times this is not to scare you, right? This is just like sharing about how science, and I think for African people, we've always understood that there was an ancestral connection. But now science is doing so many amazing experiments to see how memories are passed down from generation to generation and how we're actually not just passing down looks. So before we start about why this is important, I want to share that this is not just about us. When we clear our issues, we're clearing it not just for ourselves, but for our future generation as well, right? And I find it interesting because I think everyone always thinks that you need to take care of your kids and do everything for your kids and give them the best. But I'm like, our kids are also going to be directly or are directly influenced by our reactions and who we are as well. So let me share a study that a friend of mine just shared with me yesterday. So she does a lot of Tantra work, and I think I mentioned her before. So Mary Lou, and she was saying, so she's doing all this work around trauma and ancestral trauma. And she shared with me a study of mice that they done a study where they introduced the smell of cherry blossoms to mice and then immediately electrocuted them. Okay, I'm not for that kind of study, right? Like, I don't want to harm little animals, especially anything so small. But anyway, they electrocuted the mice. So they started to associate the smell of cherry blossoms with pain. So then eventually they stopped electrocuting them when they smelled cherry blossoms. So kind of like Pavlov's dogs, right? So every time the mice smelled cherry blossoms, they would shiver and go into shock and be really scared. Now, here's the interesting thing. They let the mice breed and they kept their kids, right? And they noticed 5 generations later, so the great-great-grandchildren of these mice, when they smelled cherry blossoms, so they stopped electrocuting the mice altogether after a week or something, right? So 5 generations later, though, none of these mice had been electrocuted for like 4 generations. They smelled cherry blossoms, the great-great-grandchildren, and they would go into shock. They just couldn't stand the smell of cherry blossoms. So this is really, really fascinating, right? So through these studies, they're starting to show that for the mice, electrocuting was a trauma. And what we don't understand is sometimes making financial mistakes, we tend to think that a trauma is this big thing that has to happen around money, like you lose your house, you go bankrupt, you do this. No, like a financial trauma can be something tiny that we view as a mistake that causes us to change how we look at the world and look at ourselves and look at money. So let me make a small example. Let's say that you made an investment mistake. Someone told you to invest in a particular stock and you suddenly, and then you invested in that stock and ended up losing tons of money. Let's assume that you were alive, you were able, you had money and were older in the year 2000 during the .com era, and you put all your money into internet stock back then, and then you lost the money. That's a financial mistake, but also the process of losing the money can be viewed as a financial trauma. It would definitely change the way that you perceive hot tips from people, right, around money. It will definitely change the way that you perceive maybe even a risky stock on the stock market. All those things are financial mistakes, but most financial mistakes are also perceived as trauma. I usually store it as trauma in the body because they completely alter our view of money and the world. And what most of us do, and how you know you're holding on to a financial mistake and a trauma, is you keep thinking, I should have done better, I should have known better. You have a lot of shoulds around money, right? So all those things are now part of your money energy, so to speak. They're part of your money story, part of your money trauma, all that, right? And it's something that you need to be aware of so that you can start changing. So then the real question is, how do you really work on rebounding from a financial mistake and really getting over a financial mistake, so to speak? So let me just talk about why this is also just important beyond just the ancestral stuff, right? So as you're holding on, it's kind of like the same story of the mice. You give birth to kids and suddenly your kids don't understand why they're so shook and scared of investment stuff, which may actually... So, I mean, this has so many implications if you think about forced removals and land acts in South Africa, which I'm not going to go into some of these videos because I'm talking about that in my next book. And I just don't want us to go too deep in the videos, right? But I just want us to start thinking of what the financial implications have been for our grandparents, our parents, and then now us, and that we're still holding on to some of those things, and that we really need to clear ancestral stuff around money, ancestral stories around money and emotions. So now in the law of attraction, how this also works. I know a lot of people love the law of attraction, so I'm just going to teach it a little bit, right? Because the reason why I don't teach it is because so many people put so much store in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, again, is one universal law. It's one of the many universal laws, right? And so most people only look at that law and think that's it. And it doesn't work in a vacuum. It's not like that, I promise you. So anyway, when you're holding on to a financial mistake and you're thinking, I should have done better, and you keep replaying that financial mistake, remember from the law of attraction, the thing that you're focusing on, it doesn't have to be conscious, but at a subconscious level, because trauma lives in the body. It lives in the energetic body. Again, back to the mice. It lives in the energetic body for generations and generations to come. And we're not even aware because it's so deep in the subconscious and in the psyche. And sometimes it happened like generations and generations ago, and we're just not even understanding why. When I look at my bank account, I'm panicking. Why the thought of having investments panics me, leads me on this whole journey of intense fear and panic, right? So what happens with the mistakes when we hold on to them and we're not clearing them energetically, we're not really clearing them from our entire psyche. So every time you reflect back on a mistake that you made about money and you think, I should have done better, I should have known better, all those shoulds, every single time you're reflecting back, it means that it's still in your subconscious system. It's still at play somewhere. When you're reflecting back on how your dad lost money or lost the house or lost the car, what happened to your mom, it's still at play. So you're actually constantly activating that within you're constantly activating that in your energy system. So, and you know from the law of attraction, what you focus on and what you activate energetically, you keep attracting. So that's why you can sometimes find yourself attracting the same financial situations over and over. So this is why we need to clear our financial mistakes, really come to peace with them, let them go. And I know that's so hard, right? And also just heal from them and then know how to rebound from them. So, okay, I did promise to share with you guys to say how you do that, right? So one of the things that you do when you want to rebound from a financial mistake is you do a lot of the inner work. So it's about going in and basically going back into the situation and healing that. And that's what I teach a lot of in the Creating Money Magic course. So when I'm doing inner child work, inner teen, when we're doing a lot of the lesson 1 meditations in the Creating Money Magic course. So hey, wealthy ones. So when we're doing a lot of the work in the Creating Money Magic course, we go into the body, especially in lesson 1 of the course where I teach about going into meditation and I created 3 different meditations for lesson 1 so that the students can go into their bodies to really start working with the body and understanding where these memories are stored in the body so that you can come to peace with them and release them so that they can leave our energy system, our body. And also there's a lot of work around questioning the stories around that so that you let them go. So I have a series of guided meditations on that in the Creating Money Magic course so that you can stop thinking about it and activating it. And of course, a lot of the work so the other part of it is also understanding the root cause of where this is coming from. So for most of us, a lot of the mistakes that we see are also not just mistakes that we made out of the blue. It's also because we have a family money story, right? So it's about healing that. So healing the mother wound, healing the father wound, and then really just understanding the ancestral stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. So again, I don't know what lesson that is. These are actually, I think there's about 3 lessons dealing with this and about probably 12 different guided meditations in the Creating Money Magic course where I do that, right? And then the next step is also looking practically at going back into the mistakes for ourselves. So if something you've done just like a month ago, a year ago, is about, okay, so let's look at the practical aspects. What lessons did you learn from that? What were the financial implications of the decisions that you made? What got you to make those decisions? And what lessons did you learn about yourself from those decisions, right? So, and I think this is really, really important to understand, is that every single thing that happens to us isn't happening to us, but also happening for us. Okay, so I really hope that helps. I'm now just leaning forward so that I can type in the masterclass, so I can share the masterclass with you guys, the link to the masterclass. So if any of this is resonating with you, I know this is like really a whole body of work. So, and I'm really excited to be talking more in depth about this in my next book, right? So it's been taking a while to figure out how it all ties together. And last night I was kind of on the phone with a friend of mine. I was like, I finally know how the book ties together. I'm so ready to just make all the chapters make sense now. But anyway, I'm having a masterclass next Monday. So Monday, April 23rd, before the retreat. So that will be like 2 days before the retreat. And in the masterclass, I'm going to be talking about 7 emotions that stop us from saving and investing money, right? So join me for that. The link is here in the here in this live video. So it's wealthy-money.com/masterclass. Ask me any questions. Let's have a discussion on what I just said, right? In the comment section below the video. And yeah, the masterclass is free, so join. And I'll also be opening up the Creating Money Magic course for registration in that masterclass. So you may actually want to join that, right? So guys, have a phenomenal day. Let's have a discussion, because I really, really think it's important to do the work around rebounding from financial mistakes. And I mean, I'm obviously talking about this now because you guys saw my journey the last 6 weeks, so especially around making the retreat happen, putting it together. And a lot of that was also me having to work through past financial business mistakes and really having to clear some of those stories. And like I said, a huge part was also my fear of announcing about retirement. Oh my God, I want to semi-retire, create passive streams of income, and having seen my family go through that and what the financial implications of that have been for my family, and then having to clear that from my energy system, and how clearing that like totally changed everything. And the retreat is now happening. So namaste. Thank you. Have a lovely day.